By the way, your fullbacks, 𝙀𝙖𝘾𝙂, flipping heck. What's going on with them?
I mean, listen, this is what I'm saying. Best left backs in the world. Best left backs in the world for me. 100%.
What? 𝙅𝙐𝙒𝙊𝘾𝙄𝘼𝙎𝙏.
Oh, no,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
stop. This is exactly what I was saying.
I'm a little skeptical because of Saliba. I feel like he's trying to get that move to Madrid. And, bro, he deserves it. I'll be honest. For me, if Arsenal don't win anything in the next few years, or even in the next year, Saliba has to go. Not because he's bad, because he's too good. I want our club to be a feeder club. We're not bigger than Real Madrid, Barca, United, Bayern, all those big clubs. They want to go and progress onto that. Like Saka, if he's there in 3 years, if we haven't won anything, he needs to go. Because he deserves better than that. It's a fact, bro.
I guess there's no better place than to start off by sort of team analysis and how team form. And given that you're the guest, the show is yours. The show is yours.
Now listen, let me keep this in like the last month or so, like since those 2 big games against Real Madrid, you've now gone on to play, who was it? Brentford was in and around there. Obviously, Crystal Palace, we just drew against, which I knew was going to happen wholeheartedly. Oh, well, got thumbs up. That Crystal Palace game, it's weird because I remember seeing a stat, they got about 15 shots on us. That's not happened since last year, City, like 2024. That was a bad game, especially the 2 goals. We never really conceded worldy goals against us like that. And there were 2 world-class goals, one from a set piece. And people need to remember, Crystal Palace have got more set piece goals than us in all competitions. So that was, expected. The main thing is, which I'm a little worried about, is I'm not going to call it a dip in form, but Saliba has now had 2 errors leading to a goal in 2 big games. Do you know what I mean? The one being the Real Madrid one, where he literally assisted Vinny, and now this one where he's assisted Mateta. It's a little scary thinking because we don't have Gabriel, that powerful duo. We don't have that. But obviously, Kivio was looking like a good centre-back. So I'm thinking, all right, cool. I had my doubts, obviously, because the guy was playing left-back, he was decent. But when he's playing centre-back, he can't run and he's not very strong. But clearly he's been in the gym a bit. So that department in the defense, I'm a little skeptical because of Saliba. I feel like he's trying to get that move to Madrid. And, bro, he deserves it. I'll be honest. For me, if Arsenal don't win anything in the next few years, or even in the next year, Saliba has to go. Not because he's bad, because he's too good. I want our club to be a feeder club. We're not bigger than Real Madrid, Barca, United, Bayern, all those big clubs. They want to go and progress onto that. Like Saka, if he's there in 3 years, if we haven't won anything, he needs to go. Because he deserves better than that. It's a fact, bro. It's a fact. But yeah, no, the recent form, it's just been very, very systematic. And I know we're a systematical team and all of that. We don't really have much flair, especially on the wings. But they've gotten the job done, I want to say, in the bigger games. But obviously in the Premier League, we've lost it anyway, so we don't really need to do anything. So I don't know. But if you're talking about Champions League, 5-1 versus Madrid.
Okay, all right, okay. Let's first of all.
Apparently, according to the stats, we're favourites. In my head, we're not favourites.
Listen. The stats, first and foremost, Prem-tar bias. All the time, every single time an English team is in there, they always go favourites. Every single time.
Bro, let me tell you something as well. I hear this from the guys. For me, this season, Prem hasn't been the best. Prem has been at its all-time low. And I'm someone who, obviously, with the English accent, I may look English, but I'm not, I'm not proper English, of course. Prem is not the best league. It's the fastest league and probably the one that has the most physicality, but it's not the best. In terms of technicality, it's La Liga. And it's very clear, especially this season. Now, recently, Serie A as well. Look at them, the two-horse race as well. La Liga's got that 3-horse race. Atletico probably dropping down now. Yeah. One of my favorite leagues, of course, Bundesliga, being a part-time Dortmund fan. These Prem fans need to stop having this, the Prem is the best league ever and everyone wants to come to us. Bro, they want to come over here because they'll get more money.
Yeah, there you go. All the bills.
The only players that are going to get more money on the average or if they're playing for Athletic Bilbao because they don't buy the players, so they have more money to give to the wages.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So the players will want to come here because of the money. So for me, we're the last English team left in there, but we are not favourites. I think the favourites, you would say, most people are saying Barcelona, but because I really love Inter and the way they play, tactically, they are the favourites. Tactically, right now, they are the best team out of the four.
Really?
And I 100%.
I don't think so. Not anymore for me. I mean, I would have had that, yes, but I saw yesterday I saw the highlights. Got smacked 3-0
by a crap Milan. I don't know how it's done, but you have to remember, bro, in derbies and rivalries, form out of the window.
True, but I mean, you think
form
now
is out of the window.
Even as I don't know, I feel people, even though obviously people don't. I don't watch Serie A. I'm not going to go and pretend I watch Serie A. But
you need to. It's really good.
100%. But from what I've even going and seeing the games that I've seen of Inter, of course, yes, they in Europe statistically they've got one of the best defenses. They concede the fewest goals and etc. So on and so forth. But I feel like we are, I think, to a certain degree, gassing them up a bit too much because especially in that Bayern tie, that first leg.
Yeah.
If Harry Kane was prime slick back 2015 Harry Kane. They go through. Some of the chances that Bayern missed, they had more chances. I thought they could easily won the first game. The second game, of course, Inter were, they did their thing. They scored 2 goals when they needed to. But the XG and all that was in their favor. And then they got exploited by AC Milan.
It's true. But then I'm going to ask you this. Would you say they didn't win Bayern because of their, let me not call them naive, but their younger, inexperienced manager versus Simone Inzaghi, who's got a tactically advanced team and more experience. So it could be that. Not just because they had like an off game, but that's what I'm asking. I'm going to play devil's advocate. Obviously, I don't like Bayern, obviously, because they whack us up, but it's like, when keep your enemies close. I understand how good Bayern are and their philosophy and stuff. But for me, I do believe Inter are favourites. Like they're the better team. I just feel like they're worked better. However, Barcelona are better to watch. And it's very clear. And they're probably most people's favourites. So it's looking like it's going to be a Barca versus one of us final.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm saying run it back to 2006, 19 years.
We'll see.
Run it back, man. But yeah, talk to me about PSG. I want to know because I feel like the team I've watched the most in Ligue 1 is probably Marseille. I don't know why. They're crap. But you tell me about PSG.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I think maybe the last couple of weeks, I think perhaps we've, not down form of turn, but we haven't been nearly as good as we were prior to that. I would say if we want to include that first Villa game and before then, I thought we were on like top 2 teams in the world then. I think we've fallen off a slight bit, culminated by the fact that second Villa tie in which... I was there as well. It's mad. Not gonna lie,
I was there, bro.
I mentioned it on stream. I was streaming the game. Not gonna lie, when that third goal went in, I looked composed on stream. Bro, in my head, I was stressing. The thing is, though, my chat was going and sending me, "Oh, Villa scored another goal," and I was like, because I thought some people are ahead of me. So I'm like, if they did, I would have smashed my monitor, smashed my camera, ended the stream. I would have crashed out live on stream.
Lock it all off, bro. Oh my days. But no, I can't lie. It was mad. That game was because you scored the first 2 goals, and everyone didn't say I'm seeing the. I was near the PSG fans, so obviously these are what gas and everything. The Villa fans over there, no one singing, and obviously for me, PSG fans are probably one of the best away fans I've ever seen. Constant singing, so they keep singing. It's like I'm thinking, wow, this is gonna go 5-6-0, surely. We're gonna have a massacre on our hands, bro. But then when who was it? I think it was John McGinn, when he just rifled it. Was it the first one?
Tielemans scored the first goal.
Then John McGinn, I was like, wow, these guys could actually come back. But the first half, Villa were dead. They were crap.
Yeah.
Then second half, it's like you guys just swapped. Yeah, I don't know what happened. But by the way, your fullbacks, Hakimi and Mendes, flipping heck. What's going on with them?
I mean, listen, this is what I'm saying. Best left backs in the world. Best left backs in the world for me. 100%.
What? 𝙅𝙐𝙒𝙊𝙾𝙄𝘼𝙎.
Oh, no, this is exactly what I was saying. Oh, my God. gosh, I knew it. This is funnily enough, that was one of my delusional Arsenal fan takes. In what world is MLS over here? Oh my goodness. You know what? I'll get onto that section then. I'll get onto that section then. Because you see, listen, obviously Ron Miles we saw this going, you know, he got like a bit of flack and so on and so forth, but you know, the Holland celebration early on in the season, etc. so forth. And when he got, you know, called up to England and so on, I thought, like most people, I thought the hate on him was, you know, unwarranted, etc. so on and so forth. 100%. But then, when you guys give takes like this, bro, you're gonna cause me to have an MLS agenda. What is this? In what world? When I see Miles Lewis-Skelly better than Nuno, Miles Lewis-Skelly best left back in the world, Miles Lewis-Skelly better potential than 𝙀𝙖𝘖. Stop. Never.
No. Oh my god.
No, y'all are not serious.
We're gonna get onto that. Don't you worry. I'm not gonna be too biased today. We're gonna get onto that. But Hakimi, I feel like this is a Hakimi, like with the potential that we saw. Obviously, being a BBB part-time fan, this is what we saw at Dortmund, like the potential. And he's like, I want to say he's finally reaching that. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. I think, especially when he came to PSG, there was a lot of hype around him, especially given that first season he came when Messi and all of that came, and he had a monster season at Inter. Like automatically,
like 50 million, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. The comparisons were already like, because that's when Messi came as well. There was the comparison of like, you know, that prime, you know, Dani Alves Messi partnership. We were gonna get the same thing with them too. But unfortunately, it just didn't work. He was never served. He'd go and make overlapping runs, never get the ball played. He'd start off the season, like in those first 2 years, he started off the season really well, but then sort of tapered off and wasn't really there. Also had like discipline issues, would go and get, you know, silly yellow cards, red cards, etc., so on and so forth. But I think now he's matured. He's happy now in Paris, so much so that, like, especially with, you know, the rumors of, you know, his best friend Mbappe at the club he was there. Like, I think like many PSG supporters thought that he was going to follow in his best friend's footsteps and go back to Real Madrid. But no, in fact, like this season they came and asked for him. He snubbed him. He said no. Signed a contract extension with PSG. So I think he's really grown into it. He's matured. He's become a leader in that dressing room and is one of like our vice captains. So he's definitely matured, and he's, I guess, where you'd go and expect him to be at. And he's now certainly, in many people's minds, like the best right back in the world.
Is he? He probably is.
I'm just thinking in terms of like, because I think in this season in the Champions League, I think PSG is for the first time in probably many years, I think both of our fullbacks are on 10 GA in the Champions League alone.
So like Hakimi is what? Like 14 overall, something like that. And
something
then
like that, 14 GA.
Mendes, it's like that. It's mad, bro. So, it's actually...
I mean, with those stats, it's hard to argue against, you know, not being the best
It's
fullbacks.
True. I mean, when you think of like, you know, your Dani Alves and all of those attacking fullbacks, like, they're matching those numbers. So
exactly.
And they're doing it defensively. So fair enough. Damn.
100%.
Obviously, he didn't score against us when he played us last year, but they're good.
I mean, to continue on in our recent form, I guess sort of like you, we recently played, on Tuesday we played, who was it? We played Nantes.
1-1, wasn't it?
The 1-1. It was a game that was called off. It was the game we were meant to play in between the Villa ties that they decided to postpone.
Got you.
I think sort of like your game against Crystal Palace, it's one like, especially for now, PSG, yes, we've won the league already, so there's not that incentive. But oftentimes, like, everybody's saying, "Oh, PSG have nothing to play for, etc., so on and forth." But we still have the invincibility that we're still playing for, which is huge.
You do.
And with that draw away at Nantes, it meant that we beat the famous AC Milan of like the late 90s and the 90s of the most games unbeaten away from home domestically.
I saw that,
39 games, which funnily enough, no one's talked about.
We know why, because there's that agenda that Ligue 1 isn't a good league. And it's tough because I really hate calling like footballers or just football bad. I think they're a clear level above average people. Do you know what I mean? So for us to say something is bad when clearly one of these teams are in the UCL semi-finals, like, how can we say that? And 39 games unbeaten? We can't really say that, but that it's a people. You know what the people are going to say, especially the English people that big up the Prem. That's why they're saying that. But 100%, 39 games unbeaten, it needs to be spoken about.
100%.
Like, for real. Of all competitions is mad.
Yeah, so I think the last loss that they had was must have been back in like 2023. February 2023 is the last time we lost. So it's that like Luis Enrique as a PSG manager has never lost away to a French team at all. And in the 2 seasons he's been there, he's only lost twice in all comps to a French team. So it just shows like how, at least domestically, how dominant PSG have been in that spell under Luis Enrique. But going,
a good manager.
Going back on, to the recent form, as in there's been a dip. I think even in that last Nantes game, I think you can clearly see on the players, it's sort of, you played not to lose, not necessarily to go and win.
Yeah.
And obviously,
that's what we did. Yep.
All the players, I think both for PSG and Arsenal have definitely their minds on the Champions League. I mean, it's the Holy Grail. For you guys, the season's basically over. For us, of course, we've got the title wrapped up and we're still playing for invincibility. But so long as we don't lose, we're fine. Yeah, we can get draws all the way. We'll still be champions, etc., so on and so forth. So both teams, I think there's been a drop off, yes, but I think it's also been because of the Champions League games to come up.
That's what it is. Because if we didn't have this game, then Brentford would be, Crystal Palace would be like, 100%. We wouldn't really worry about that. But because we are, and I feel like some of the boys are a bit scared because of the recent form that you guys have had since the turn of the year. Like, cool, these lot literally beat this team 2-0 start of the season. Realistically, you shouldn't be scared, but because you're seeing Dembele finally reach BVB Dembele, 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬 be the next Neymar regen, looking like Mbappe, like it's mad. So I think these are definitely scared, and they have every right to be, bro, because 100%. This PSG side is, I think one thing that's not spoken about your side, and from what I've watched, is the midfield. The midfield is ridiculous. The only way we get over this midfield is physicality. But even then, how technical and how flary and how amazing these guys are good at, like the interchanging and the triangle play, Vitinha, João Neves, even 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬 can play there as well. It's mad. Like, you guys have got a very, very good midfield. And that's not even to speak about your attack. You finally got this Georgian freak. I was so annoyed when he went there because Ali,
I was right about to mention him.
You do it.
Oh my goodness, Ali. First and foremost, in fact, I was gonna make a short on him. He going and said wasting his potential over there. Listen, I know he's still a bit salty that we beat him and so on and so forth. And they were probably interested in him, but
no, bro. This was before.
This was before we went.
Yeah, this was before. This was before. You guys
even played them.
You guys beat. Yeah, literally. So I remember how it started. We're just doing loads of stuff. And I said to the boys, all right, does any of you lot have any take that you want to film right now, whilst we're here? They said, yeah, I've got something. Kvaratskhelia, I don't think he's going to do well at a PSG. I said, what? Then he's filmed that, bro. And I'm like, you can see me in the video. I'm like, I'm smiling, but I'm just like, is this guy all right, bro? Does he not watch him at Napoli when they beat them? What was it,
2 years ago? A couple years ago.
And he literally destroyed.
He just smacked everybody. And then what did he do? He did the same thing against you.
I said you will live this down, and I saw all the edits they made on that video as well. I said, bro, you will never live this down. You're a fool. Because he's like the epitome of only watching
Prem Tard. This guy is a starter on Prem Glaze FC. Starter.
And bro, my. That's what I'm saying. And that's fine. You can only watch one league. That's okay. Yeah. But then don't go talking
about other leagues. You know this stuff.
Bro, respect. I told Andy, he's a fool, man. But no, it was so funny. It was so funny just seeing that and then seeing Kvara just literally cook his whole team, bro.
Absolutely. Unfortunate not to get the goal in that first leg for some Fugazi calf offside.
What was that, bro? What was that?
I mean, I don't know. I think in fairness, it's obvious he's offside. He's offside, but I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but these really, really tight offsides. I mean, I guess obviously if it happens to your team, you're just like it's offside. It's offside.
That's the thing. And it's tough.
I'm not sure how you do the rule change for something like that, or if you do it at all.
I don't know, but it's like when you see something as a toe offside, it's like you just want to say, just give it to them. He didn't mean to do that. Do you know what I mean? But it's tough because if I'm seeing that against Arsenal for the Premier League, let's say, or UCL final, I'm gonna be like, no, it's toes offside. Give him offside.
Yeah.
It's very tough. I feel like we're very us fans we're very privileged to just say, "Oh no, do this, do that," but then the refs, I gotta give it to them sometimes. It's hard calls to make,
Respect
but
respect the rest.
that's why I'm gonna say it. I hate them, but like I gotta give it to them.
Yeah, you gotta give them their flowers. Gotta give them their flowers.
I agree. It's tough, man.
It's
very, very tough. But we're looking two good teams, man. Arsenal versus PSG is this. It's scary, but it's exciting because I said at the start of the season that we're gonna see a team that hasn't won the Champions League win it this season. I wasn't just saying that for my team, but I was saying
any team,
maybe any team, maybe PSG. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
With us two facing each other, it means at least there's a guarantee that one team that's never won it is going to be in the final.
We have a 50% chance of that coming true, bro. That's what I'm saying. So we're gonna see. It's looking good.